Hello, book lovers. Lisa here with another book review. Today, I will be focusing on Lady Averly's Guide to Guile and Peril, the third book in the Matronly Misadventures series by Rosalie Oakes. I read the first two books almost a year ago and only picked up the third recently. This is not because I didn't like the books. I hit a really horrific reading slump that I am only now coming out of. I was excited to pick up these books again. I believe that Lady Averley's Guide to Guile and Peril must be read with a British accent in your mind at least, while enjoying a cup of cocoa or tea if you must. If you have a mob cap, you might want to put it on. Did you know that mob caps can be titillating? All right, enough of my fake British accent. That is the accent that was going through my head as I read the book. This is the perfect read for someone who enjoys the occasional dip into Regency romance. Add to that an intelligent, somewhat saucy, middle aged widow who recently became a marchioness, and it suited my desire for more mature protagonists. I have been looking for books that include middle aged protagonists or above because I believe our stories are still valued and should be heard. I'm also writing one right now, but we'll talk about that at another time. The cast of characters is fun, as many of them have unique muser or magic powers that, if overused, make them silly and bemused. To counteract their bemusement, they sometimes make agreements with tiny bats named vampiri in a mutually beneficial relationship. These are not the vampires you imagine who are out to suck your blood. No, seriously. They take on human forms to support the agreements. They feed off of their humans, but also support them in ways that help their bemusement and sometimes going on little spy missions and things like that. They come in all types, including prudish fops and temptresses that have no fear, excuse me, of flaunting their nudity. It's difficult to fly with a cape after all, and who wants to carry a cape with you to keep yourself protected in this very restrictive society when you can fly freely? In a time period when sexuality was controlled and same-sex relationships would be frowned upon, the vampiri live according to their own desires, as do many of the characters in this series. Love always finds a way. That does not mean it is an extremely spicy series, but that it explores relationships in all the possible forms, and I love that. The story itself in this particular book takes many twists and turns. It does in all the books, but in this book, Lady Averly has a murder to solve, a lover to rescue, a castle to revitalize, political intrigue to confront, a family to heal, and spies to uncover, all under the rising threat of the war with France. There's also a little side venture for some people to assassinate Napoleon Bonaparte based on some real instances, but you'll have to read more to find out about this one. Somehow, though, Lady Averly manages to do it all while keeping her mob cap in place, until, of course, she chooses to take it off. This all leads to a truly satisfying and somewhat spicy ending of the entire series. I want to take a moment to talk about book series. I'm very picky about book series. There are way too many series out there where it's not to tell a good story, but to just continue making money, where one book does not end in a satisfying way, doesn't tell a good story, but pushes you to have to read the next book to find out what happens. And that really frustrates me. I love planned stories where planned series where each book tells a complete story in a satisfactory way, and then maybe leaves a few threads dangling so that you want to read the next book in the series. This series does that. I wanted to keep reading in this series, not just to tie up the loose ends, but also because I enjoyed the characters, the descriptions, the explorations into gender norms during the Regency era, and the total immersion in the world. I look forward to reading more books by this author. I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are. Have you read any of the books in this series? Do you enjoy them? And what do you think about book series? I really want to know because I think it's become kind of an epidemic of unsatisfying series, all in the name of making money rather than really satisfying reads that want you to keep reading more. Talk to you soon.